Hello, welcome to RNG at the Crossroad. I am GA Cross.
And I'm Roosevelt. And once again, we'd like to thank you for joining our program. And what we're going to do today is, our last broadcast, we had talked about the power of the mind. So today we're going to kind of continue with that. Now, this is a topic that Gerald and I have decided it's very important to everybody's lifestyle, everybody's dreams, desires, wants. The mind is very important. The power of the mind is very important. Even though you have the brain and you have the mind, your mind is the physical part, the brain is the physical part, and your mind is actually the subconsciousness. And the thing is, we're not professionals when it comes to, I want to say professionals, but we're learning as we're speaking, we're learning also what the power of the mind is. And Gerald and I, over books we've read over the years, we get the concept, we understand it, but we're working on the mastery of it in our own personal lives. So don't misunderstand that we're know-it-alls with this. This is going to be a topic that throughout the history of our broadcast, our podcast, this is going to be a topic that we'll always be talking about from time to time, because without understanding the power of the mind and how it works, there's really nothing that you can accomplish. So, and with that being said, one of the things I want to share is something that I seen today, Gerald, that kind of like really, it touched me, and I'm trying to find this. Here it is. And nothing in life ever surprises me, but I'm always open to listening to different information. But I seen this today, or it was the other day, as I was, trying to prepare for this broadcast, and I came across this. I was looking at some of the quotes when they talk about the subconscious mind. And again, as Gerald will allude to, the brain is the physical part of who you are, and the mind is the subconscious part, and they work hand in hand, but they are not what's the word I want to use?
Well,
they're not the same.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, the brain itself is the clinical aspect, where you're dealing with the nerves, all the electric connectors and things like that, and as far as its capacities. So it's the actual physical brain that you can actually touch. Right. And then it's the mind that is the abstract side, to where you have like the imagination and all these other things that come to pass that are not tangible.
Right. So I seen this one quote, and it kind of touched me, and I'm gonna share with you. And the quote was, "Failure is not the opposite of success. It's absolutely part of it." So that has everything to do with, because society will tell you that when you fail at something, you're pretty much doomed. But then, depending on, I'm talking about the negative energy in society. But anybody that's successful, they know that failure is absolutely a part of your success. So that has a lot to do with how you think, how you process, what you think you are. In order to have success in your life, you have absolutely got to manifest it through your thoughts first. So with that being said, Gerald, how do you feel about that?
I feel like that the brain is the control center for everything. And the brain processes our present, our past, and our future. And what it does is it's a huge processing center for all the things, all the experiences, and all the things that have happened to us in our life. Right. And we bring all of that to the decisions that we have to make on a daily basis. And that's our whole platform, is being at the crossroads every day, being and making those decisions and making them good in order to bring out those really, really good outcomes. So the brain is a control center. So a lot of times we have things have happened to us in the past where we need therapy to process those things, so that we're able to deal with our current situations that we're dealing with today that will allow us to make better decisions.
Right.
And a lot of times a person can have situations that have happened to them, and they could have, an unhealthy ego. And an unhealthy ego is a really good sign and a good indicator of a person who has an unhealthy ego is a person that listens to advice, but never acts on it. They pretty much they listen to the advice, but they never use it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they never look for the flaws in themselves, or they try to do everything by themselves. They don't ever want to consent with others, or they don't want to work with anybody else. They pretty much think it's all about them, or they see everything is beneath them, that they're above everything, or
Mm-hmm.
they keep going even when they know they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They get all the signs, all the indicators, knowing that they're wrong, they're on the wrong course, but because their ego is so out of control and on such a bad path that that's the only thing they can see. So they got just tunnel vision, and they can't see any other outcome other than themselves. So it causes them to make bad decisions, and it leads them down bad paths. And, they pretty much just eliminate people over time that they feel is a nuisance to them, because usually are people that do care about them, saying, look, you kind of full of yourself, you're making bad decisions and you having bad outcomes, but they don't want to hear that because their ego's out of control and they have an
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy ego.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, and then people just kind of just don't want to be bothered with them, and they're not really sure why. And then a healthy ego allows us um, to genuinely appreciate the strengths and accept um, advice from others, and allows us to love ourselves unconditionally. So it's a difference between a healthy ego and an unhealthy ego. So we have to have, understand what they are and to know where we are and try to keep a balance of those things.
Okay. Now, when you talk about loving oneself unconditionally, and I think that means a lot of things, different things to different people. But at the same time, it's not that there's a whole lot of variables when it comes to love, even though there's different levels of love. So why is this so hard for people to love themselves?
I think that sometimes they don't love themselves because it could be an experience. It could have been a lot of times it really can truly develop from unhealthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a person that you've been involved with, or so on and so forth, they may see your potential and know that you're full of greatness,
Mm-hmm.
but they want to keep you in a box so they can control you. So a lot of times they will try to beat up on your self-esteem. They will try to say things that are demeaning, or some people are really great at highlighting all your imperfections, but
Right.
then that they don't really want to have great conversations about the things that you do well, or the things that you're developing, anything positive about you. So a lot of times I think people forget to love themselves because I think it's their encounters, I think it's their experiences, and I think it's just being around unhealthy people.
Yeah.
And like you was talking about the failures, failure is never final, what I'm saying, unless you quit.
Exactly.
It's only part of,
Exactly.
like you said, it's all part of the process. Those failures are part of who we are. And those are those like a mason builds, those are those bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And bricks and mortar around your foundation. Because hey, those particular failures and so on and so forth, they become a part of you, but they're also the things that allow you to be better, because they are things that teach us how not to do things so that we can know how to correctly do things. So
Yeah. So, and overall, what you're saying, what I hear, and what I feel, no matter what you do in life, failure is going to be a part of whatever type of life you live. If it's going to be growth or if it's going to be demise,
right.
there's going to be failure involved. So that's that thing that you can never escape, even though there's real power in how you look at failure. And that's where the mind comes in. Because you made a real good point about the people you're around, your relationships. You know, those are so very important. You don't understand it when you're younger. and that's cool, because we all go through that process. But as you grow and start understanding and start being around people that are like-minded, then you start taking a different look at things and possibly start applying various tools that can get you what your outcome is, what your God-given outcome is. You said something which I've been guilty of, several things. People you're around, people that see the greatness in you, but they'll never, or they don't make the attempt to edify that which they see in you, because they want to keep you in that box.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's an excellent point, because they want you to live within their consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to hand you their limitations, things that they have tried and have been unsuccessful at doing. If they see you doing it, the first thing they want to do is they want to convince you that you have those same limitations, or that you have that same level of consciousness they have.
Right.
Your goals are your goals and their goals are theirs. So you have to take ownership of your own personal goals and plot a course to begin to take a step in that direction. It's like we talked about, with Socrates, when a man saw him abroad and away, away from the Greek Empire,
mm-hmm.
a man said, "Hey, how does one get to Greece?" He said, "By taking every step in that direction." It's a discipline.
Right.
As long as you continue to make those steps toward your goals, then you will become more as you get closer to that goal, because of all the things that you encounter along the way. And a lot of times it's not the destination, it's the journey that allows us to become who we are, allows us to grow. And that's the thing, those relationships are important, man, because you don't never want to be the most intelligent person in the room, or that most intelligent person within the group of people that you associate with, because there's no room for growth. If you just want to talk about the ego, that's that ego wanting to be the smartest
mm-hmm.
person in the room. Everybody's looking to you, but who do you look to? You see what I'm saying? So,
correct. And I know, I played that role in my life, thinking I knew everything, but most of it was a defense mechanism for me. And the older I become, and then just to be able to trust people. Now, that's why you have to really be careful on who you're around. And it's cool. I mean, some people you just can't get out of your life. Family members that love you, that you love, but their thought process doesn't match yours. That's where you have to learn to stand on your beliefs, stand on the things that you're trying to accomplish, be steadfast and growing. And it's not always easy. I wish I had this information when I was younger.
Yeah, and I think that, man, that's an excellent point. People are not perfect, and just because you don't agree with how a person lives their life or how they do certain things,
mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you don't love them, or that you don't have a care for them. That's part of being, having a genuine type of personality in that regard. But at the same time, I think this is a book Stephen R. Covey wrote, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yeah.
And he talked about that responsibility, how we respond to the people and the events that happen to us. So your experience with that particular individual is not going to be the same experience that you will have for someone else. So your response to how you receive a person that's not positive versus a person who is, a person
mm-hmm.
who is ambitious and a person who is not. So
mm-hmm.
if you have a person that they pretty much, they usually on the downer, you know what I mean? They pretty much are in the pits most time you talk to them, then you probably not want to spend a lot of time talking with them. Don't mean you don't love them, but you ain't gonna spend a lot of time in a room with them because they're gonna drain your juice. Because they're in the pits and they've been down there for years, you can say a couple positive things and see if that gives them traction, but you can't stay down in the pits with them too long, you know?
Yeah. You know, and also with that being said, you got to be responsible for what you develop in your own subconsciousness. Like, even if you're not dealing with a lot of people, for instance, any picture that your subconscious brings into your mind, brings into your subconscious, man, like sitting around watching different programming on television, sitting around watching not just programming, but a lot of different things that get into your subconscious. You have to be direct and purposeful, but because the subconsciousness is the most powerful part of your existence. And once you can learn how to control that, not that I'm there just yet, but this is what I'm working on in my personal life. Because right now I'm getting understanding.
Yeah, and you're right. And a lot of times, in order to experience or even connect with that subconscious, you have to truly learn how to quiet your mind and to be able to meditate, because
Exactly.
you know that subconscious right now is picking up everything. You know, it's picking up sounds that we consciously are not aware of, the smell in the room, the lighting, colors on this screen that we see and know, but we're not really looking at them in detail. It's like all the details that it's processing in there, and it's all part of your experience. It's kind of like, you know, you can be someplace, you could be in a restaurant, sitting down having a meal, and they can open the door from back there, and you can smell a fresh apple pie. Boom! That sense of smell, which is strong, can take you back 30 years. Like you were a kid, you could have been, walking around and in your grandma's kitchen or something like that, and bring back a memory of the holidays or something. You know, it could just take you right there. You know, so
and it could have taken you back to where, if that smell, you might have got burnt by the apple pie because you were doing something you shouldn't have been doing while it was being cooked, or it was just it brought glory to your life. And those are the things that we have to really understand and learn when it comes to our subconsciousness and the power of it.
Yeah, and it's those particular things. It's like, and those basic senses of sight, touch, smell, hearing, and taste. And that sense of smell is I got to look it up again, but I'm almost for sure that's one of the most potent ones. Is actually the sense of smell, man. Because it's happening many, many times where it's like during the holidays and things like that is when you start to smell certain foods and things. It could take you back to it's instantly back to your childhood, or like you said, could be something that could be monumental in your life. Like you said, you could have got burnt by the pie, but it's something that taught you not to do certain things. So it's all about the experience. That mind, I mean, it truly affects everything and how you experience, because it truly does. And you have to find a way to process the things that you experience that are going to bring you to your better self.
Yeah. And one of the things that, there's a gold mine within us that from which we can extract everything that you need to live gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. But it takes a process of consciously training yourself, being purposeful as well as disciplined. It's not easy, but it's doable, because I don't believe God puts anything on us that we cannot bear. But we're so caught up in life's experiences, life stuff, that thing that burns within every human being, that I believe burns within every human being, we allow it to get sidetracked.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we can get sidetracked away from our goals and things like that. And a lot of times we talked about that, as far as the procrastination can do it. Things that have happened to me personally, I pursued some business ventures or even chosen jobs and they're not necessarily careers, but they were jobs that I thought, hey, they were going to bring me a better income. So I looked at it from a financial aspect versus, is this going to allow, and is this going to improve my experience? As far as, doing different things. And as far as a business, getting the understanding around developing a business around your talent, something that you enjoy doing and actually getting out here doing it like we're doing.
Right.
We're not really getting, we're not so, meticulous about, oh, we got to make money. We got to make money. Right now, this is a purpose thing for us, so we're like, hey, we on our purpose. So we know that along this journey, those particular opportunities will present themselves. So, and I think that has to do with how we experience things.
Well, you and I've had conversations, because even myself, I just went back to a job which I haven't worked since 2018. So I go back to a job. Why do I go back to that job? Because I'm not dealing with my money the way I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes, a job is absolutely necessary, but when you have a dream of a better life for yourself, your family, that taps into what your God-given rights are. And this is how society just is so overwhelming. You have to make sacrifices and be okay with making that leap, making that transition. Like I said, I just went back because I haven't been handling my finances right. But it's a means to end for me right now, because it's not a career. You're doing what you have to do because that's what you got to do right now while we're developing other things.
Correct.
And that's something that no matter where you are in life, no matter what your position is, I mean, if somebody just want to work, I ain't mad at you. As long as you're taking care of your business, handling your business, taking care of your family, however you by any means necessary, it's okay.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, and once again, it reverts us right back to how the mind is processing that. Because if you're working right now, if you're working on a job or doing whatever you're doing right now, it's, that is part of the process, that you have to be responsible for the things that you deal with on a daily basis. On a monthly basis, whether your utility bills, your mortgage, insurance, food, all these other things that you have to pay that are necessities that you have to have every month. Right. So you have to have a means to take care of those particular items for you to live. But the way the mind processes it says, hey, you're doing those things, but you also have to be doing something else that has to do with your purpose.
Right. And that's why, we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's about encouraging a community of people.
Correct.
We plan on, our goal is to bring a community of people together to help you process, to help all of us process what our God-given rights are, what our dreams are, what we desire to make our lives in the world within that we live in better for ourselves.
Correct.
And that's why, man, I'm excited. I'm very excited about what we're doing, brother. And we're growing and we're developing. And I'll tell you, people, we're going to be flat out just open with you guys.
Absolutely. And that's the main thing that is part of the platform, is that, once right now we're in the development stage of our show, and we're going to start taking calls so we can get our listeners' perspective on different topics and different issues as well. So we're working to that. And like Roosevelt said, we welcome different points of view. I encourage different points of view. Absolutely. So that's one of the things that we want to be different about our platform, that if you disagree with us on here, we're not going to overtalk you. As long as you can, be calm about it and respectful to Roosevelt and I, and to our listeners, come on, go at it, man. I prefer people to call in that just don't totally disagree with what I'm saying. Because that way, if we don't agree, that gives me an opportunity to see your perspective and allows me to grow and learn. You know, not saying I don't want people to call in and agree with me. Sometimes that's good too, but we're tolerable of those things because right here is a processing factor to where you may have a situation or you feel different about an issue than we do, but you could present it. It could be something that our listeners want to hear that can learn from it. Our listeners are not going to agree with everything we say. So it's something they can learn from as long as us. So once again, with this segment, it's about the mind, how we interpret the things that we encounter and the different concepts that affect our experiences. Yeah. So,
and just, you know, for addendum to what Gerald just said, we are our own community, him and I, we're transparent to one another. So it is our desire that our transparency with each other in the community that him and I have developed with us, that it branches out. We'll always be transparent and honest.
Absolutely. And like, because
like you were saying as well, hey, we're here to learn too.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, we're here to learn, and we're going to learn along with our listeners. So our main platform and the main piece is for us to grow. So we're going to be, you know, Roosevelt and I will bring you different things and different tools, different concepts and things like that, that we feel that we can use to grow along with you, our listener. So we're all, the main thing is for us to grow and to become better. So, absolutely. But, you know, the thing is, you know, we really believe that every individual is at a crossroad every day. And it's about the decisions that we have to make. So it's really up to you to whether to make the decision to remain the same, regress, or to grow. So we want to positively affect and change the dynamics of our community by bringing positive outcomes to the community, so that one family at a time can become better, along with a community that can become better. So at this point, it's change those dynamics. So what's now?
What's next, man? You know, come and join us on the journey to a growing, on our journey of growing a community of like-minded people that aren't afraid to make decisions for the betterment of their own lives and their community. We understand that decisions and choices don't always turn out the way that we like or wish for them to do, but nonetheless, there is a lesson to be learned in all decisions and choices. And at the end of the day, decisions do have to be made, willingly or not. So again, what's next? The choice is yours. Don't get stuck in the crossroad of your life and do nothing. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing.
That's right. We're going to be continuing to do more segments and bringing more information to you. And we look forward to growing and becoming better with you. So thank you for joining us, and have a good evening. Thank you.